let me know so I
Stop.
can fix it. I don't want to get stuck.
All right, cool. Because all the technical stuff has been going so well up to this point.
Oh, yeah, smooth.
Smooth, like X-Lax, yeah. Did I warn you that I was a stand-up comic?
I love it. I love it.
This is great. So, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night. This is the Aunty Sochelle Hour-ish show. We are sort of live-ish. We're trying to fix it as much as we can. We might be live going on now on our YouTube channel. I don't know. It might be live. I have no idea. It looks like it might be. So if you hear us in the background, that's what's happening. Turning the phone off. I've got 2 dogs around me. They will bark at Santa Claus as he flies by. So I'm admiring my my copy of Vitalogy, which I used to love Sgt. Pepper's album because you'd open it up and you'd see George, Paul, Ringo, and John.
Yeah.
And none of that is going on here. But there is little Hottie Dave sitting.
Yeah. Laying on the floor.
Laying on the floor.
Yeah.
I actually met you during Lollapalooza originally, 100,000, and I met Sherry back then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a long time ago. Galaxy far, far away. Because I had played drums with a band called the Horseless Headman, and we were going to audition for Lollapalooza. We didn't get in, but that's okay.
Wow.
And
Sherry's doing great. She's an acupuncturist.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
I love hearing about what people did, afterwards. But you and I kind of started. We're all the same generation. We're the same type of musician. Like I'm a drummer, you're a drummer. Huh?
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. We're just gonna walk around. What are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing? I don't know. Okay. Now I know we're gonna be friends for life. Because once you snot at somebody, it's good.
Yeah, when you're that comfortable.
But I was dating a guy, let's say he was in the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Let's say that for a minute when I met you guys. That was a long time. I'll tell you after.
Was that a reek?
No, but I'll tell you afterwards. I won't say it on the air. I won't say it on the air. There's stories.
Okay. Okay.
Especially if this is live, I don't want to scare you.
Keep some secrets. Okay.
Yeah, there's some things you got to save for the book and the movie.
There you go.
But like you, like I had grown up like with parents who were really into art and stuff. Like my mom was painting, like on our kitchen wall there was murals and stuff she had done when she was pregnant with my sister. I'm the old bag in the family. You have an older brother. Yeah, but you had like music loving parents, right?
I have an older brother.
Yeah.
I did, luckily enough. I mean, my mom, I always knew she was in a good mood because she was dancing around to Sam and Dave and ready in the kitchen. And my favorite memories of my dad are he had all of his cars. He would let me climb in the back deck and the back window and lay on the speakers so I could hear everything better. He always liked loud cars. Yeah, but he was listening to Grand Funk and the Guess Who and stuff like that. And again, I always knew when he was in a driving down the road singing along with the radio.
Cool. See, we had the Galaxy 500, and I would be sitting there like my parents would hit the button, and we're gonna listen to the golden oldies. And I'm thinking these songs are like 100 years old, and now that I'm well into my late 50s. My late 50s. I'm into my 60s is what I'm saying. I just turned 61 last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you're holding up well.
Yeah, buy one, get one free.
That's funny.
That's what happens when you smoke. Sorry. The skin stays soft and moist. He's Italian. Um, I knew we'd have a good time. So, but I would listen to my dad's stuff, and I would think it was so old because it was like, from the 1950s, and this was 1960 something. So,
Yeah.
I was like, come
Uh,
on. And now
yeah,
I'm like,
it's
I'm
amazing.
yeah, you listen to stuff in the
The
90s
per-
now, and you're like going, this is so cool. I remember this is brand new, like Lane Staley's something, and or you listen to like
yeah.
Lane's cassettes when you would hand them out, going, yeah, listen to this one, listen to this one. And
Yeah, relativity is a real bitch.
yeah, but
Now
you're
you're putting on your oldies and it's Pearl Jam records and Alice in Chains
yeah, they're saying
and
it's
Kisses.
classic rock, and I'm like, what? What?
Well, and it's even older than classic rock was to us when we were young.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
no
I mean,
kidding.
I love classic rock in the '80s, and it was from the '70s.
Right? Well, I mean, I went to Three Dog Night and Arlo Guthrie, so those were like huge concerts for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I was a
Yeah, that's
huge
impressive.
Three
That's
Dog Night
impressive.
and Funkadelic. I
Oh yeah,
was the Parliament junkie. My three P's:
I have
Pearl
I have
Jam, Primus, Peppers, and Parliament.
oh, that's
Yes,
four.
yeah, so yes, that's why I said it that way.
Oh, I thought you said three.
Yeah, I did.
I have I have a George Clinton story.
Oh, do tell.
Wanna hear it? And it was with Sherry as well. We were
Oh,
after one of those award shows. The AMAs Pearl Jam just swept the awards, and so of course we were at the after show. Of course we were Pearl Jam, so everyone's dressed to the nines, and we're wearing shorts and t-shirts, and we're sitting at a table, and it started off. I got up and I walked over to Rob Palmer's priest. He's leaning against a pole with a full length rhinestone leather coat, just awesome.
uh-huh.
And I walked over and I introduced myself and I told him that I never missed a pre-show growing up and it blew me away. It was huge inspiration and all this. The whole time I had my hand out, as an introduction, and he just was looking at my hand. And when I finished talking, and I'm still standing there with my hand out, I looked up at his face, looked back at his hand. He rolled his eyes at me and didn't even shake my hand. And
Oh
I was like, man, okay, well, whatever. We won everything. And so then, then I turned around, and as I got back to the table, it was Sherry and I and some other friends sitting across from us. It was a booth, and George Clinton walks up, and he says, "Mind if I sit down?"
no.
Oh, and he sits down, and I sit down, and he looks at me, and he's just looking at me. He goes, "Dave, you're one funky motherfucker." And I heard Sherry go. I heard Sherry actually make a sound like, ugh. And then we talked for a second. Got up, gave him a hug. He split. I sat back down, and Sherry was just looking at me. And it was the only time in all those years that I ever saw her impressed by anything. And she looked at me, she goes, "George Clinton just told you were funky." And I said, "I know." We giggled like schoolgirls.
I would have been on the floor going, yes, I can die now.
Oh man, it was the
So,
coolest. And of course, I smelled like, after that hug, I smelled like George Clinton for an hour and a half.
so you can't touch, I mean, you can't touch anything else because then you got his DNA all over you.
Oh, yeah, probably his, and he probably still had DNA on him from the 70s.
That's true. When everybody walked around like a scratch and sniff painting.
Yeah, he smelled like patchouli and funk.
Um, there was a band in LA called Double D Nose, and they had got the eye of George Clinton and P Funk All Stars and all those guys, and it was two Jewish cats doing basically funkadelic tunes as Jewish songs. They were hilarious. They were so good. And just like not
Wow.
even as a joke, they were just really taking a commitment hard. It was so good. I'll have to send you
Wow.
some of their music just so you can hear it because it's so good. Avery
I,
Shriver,
I, oh, Avery Shriver. Oh, that's a
his
name I've
son
heard in a
Josh
while.
was doing it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's great. I was blown away when I saw the documentary of the two Jewish guys that were in their like late 40s, early 50s that wrote all the disco hits.
Right?
But like all the Donna Summer songs, all that stuff. These
Yep.
two guys, they're like looking for some hot stuff, playing it on a piano,
Yeah.
sounding like a lounge act. They were the ones that wrote all those classic disco songs.
It gives
That
me
just blew
hope that
my
I have
mind.
something
So,
to give the youth of America. I'll be jamming them.
Yeah.
Okay, kids, this is an A chord.
Take that.
Yeah, exactly. I know how to play an instrument. I don't just hit buttons. It's amazing.
Oh man, I was so thankful. Natasha Schneider,
Uh-huh.
of Great Alan and Natasha and the band 11, the Stone
Uh-huh.
Age and all that. I didn't even consider myself a musician until I was in my 30s, and it was because of her.
Oh,
We were sitting in their living room, and she said, "David, you must learn the piano." Hey, she's saying that, so much respectful. I said, "Okay," and she said, "Next time you're here." All right, so
ah,
it was a month or so later. I'm back in LA at their house and watching this show and cracking up. And then she gets up and she starts walking to the music room, and she said, "Come on." And I was gonna say, "Great, you're gonna teach me some piano." And I got the first syllable of the word "teach" out before she spun around and she put her finger in my face and she said, "All the teacher can do is teach you how to be them, and you can never be me." And she said, "I'm going to give you the fundamental knowledge of this instrument. And then if you choose to play it with your dick, that is music." And in 20 minutes, she sat me down and she explained the 12 notes on a piano and how they
you had
wrote
music theory
basic
crash
pattern.
course. Yeah.
In 20 minutes, she showed me the fact that, to be a musician, all you have to do is understand those 12 notes and understand how the instrument works to make them.
Yep.
And then the rest, once you have that understanding, if you just choose to go bam, bam with your head on the keyboard, you're understanding what's happening. And that is music. And
Exactly.
then, because up until that point, I always measured myself against other players. It's like
That's the way to kill your brain.
Mozart
Yeah.
musician. Oh, yeah, all
Yeah.
these people. And I didn't understand that emulating someone wouldn't turn you into a musician. Understanding what you're doing
Right.
and the choices you're making and why you're making them, that's really the definition. So in 20 minutes, she blew my mind. And then I was like two rabbits in a cage. I was with music. I was every instrument I could get my hands on, and I would just sit down and I would understand it, and those 12 notes, how to get them, and then
Yeah.
I could play music on them. It was an amazing mind expanding, life altering 20 minutes.
Now
I owe her
you're
everything.
brave. You're braver than I am because you have a child.
What do you mean, Brave? You never had sex before?
That I've had. I've never said oops before. And, oh, look, a
Hey,
kid popped out.
yeah, shit happens.
Yeah. But have you taught her how to play anything?
She's an exceptional human being.
Well, of course.
She studied. She went to her mom, Diana, and Diana did such a great job momming her up. You know, we where we lived in this town of less than 400 people when she was born, it was
Mhm.
perfect. We didn't have a TV. We had chickens, and they say it takes a village. We had a whole town after her, and lived, after each other, and so we got really lucky in that foundational aspect. She was fearless, and she became fearless with education too. And Diana, her mom, supported that in such a great way. Really went out of her way to be a part of all those aspects and encouraged her. And did a
Oh,
fantastic job. Yeah,
you just went out for a little
Francesca
second.
played drums, played up in the back.
You're back. You're back. You're back.
Yeah, she played drums. Played drums. She plays French horns. Yeah, marched in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
That's
She's good.
killer. That's killer. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I mean,
Yeah.
parents that show their kids, like we had an animator on who was my adopted niece a few weeks back, and when you have parents that like show you that you can do things, you don't have to be limited by somebody saying, you should really get a job in accounting. You know, it's so much cooler.
Hmm. Yeah, I got really lucky. My folks, they didn't know how to encourage me with music other than the way that their approach to the whole thing, and I didn't understand what it was until Diana and I had Princess. She was born in our house, and and I took her outside for the first time and had her and called my dad, and the only advice he ever gave me from as a parent to
Oh,
his new parental son was enjoy watching her become who she is.
that's
That
cool.
was it.
That's
And I was
cool.
like, wow, now I get it. Now I understand why me and my two brothers are so incredibly different. And it was weird too because I think in my young life I saw it as like my friends' parents were so overbearing and
Yeah.
mine weren't. They weren't like treaty, but they allowed us space to just go run amok. And they protected us from the sharp corners of life. When we needed
Huh.
them, they were there. And, they definitely would say, you know, watch your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
don't bump your
Don't
head.
light yourself on
But
fire.
they let us, yeah, they let us discover who we were and let us choose our path. And their support was by, again, protecting us from the sharp corners as we went along our chosen paths. And seeing my friends and their overbearing parents, it made me think there were times where I felt alone because of that. But even in that, as I grew older, I understood that even in that, that was just my way of seeing the world at that moment. It led me to make decisions that benefited. So they did a good
Yeah, so you know
job.
how to do this, which is a lot of people don't know how to do that. That's
Oh
hard.
yeah. Hey, well, well, especially now that it seems like kids are more trophies than responsibility. You know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
it's
well.
like to me, a kid, having a child wasn't an achievement. It wasn't a life achievement. It was a responsibility.
Yeah, it
Whether
wasn't
I
like
whether I did good or not, hopefully, when she's in her 30s and starts to understand things, I'll
yeah,
stand past the test. So.
or yeah. I think when you're not connecting, it's real
Oh
obvious when
yeah.
you're not connecting.
Well, yeah, yeah.
But it's like the glowing talk. We've talked. The show's only been on for a year, and we've talked to people that have had kids, and I watched the especially the men. Now I was raised by my dad most of my childhood, and he had this attitude of I'm going out to get a piece of ass. Here's your frozen dinner. I'll see you in a few days. You know?
Wow, well, that it's the DNA is what prepares you for that kind of childhood for sure.
Yeah, but in the
Um,
meantime, I got to play guitar really loud.
there you
So
go. There
nobody else had to
you
be at the piano or
go.
drum. So
That's nice.
I
Yes,
knew who the Who were.
yeah. Uh, did
Um,
Dad turn you on to the Who, or did you find it?
no, I turned him on to the Who.
There you go.
I got
My
him.
dad.
I
Oh,
was such a huge fan. Oh my God, like crazy huge fan of Keith Moon. And
ah,
see, George Krupa, Keith Moon, Buddy Rich, um, and then Parliament. All the
did
people they
you
had.
did you
You
did you
know,
say George Krupa?
yeah, Gene Krupa. I know. I know the difference. I just made it funny.
And old Barney Rich, old Billy Rich.
Yes.
Grand Funk. Me and my dad. There were a couple of moments that tipped us over the hump as far as were milestones. And I remember, when my daughter was young, I was thinking I'd be creating these moments and thinking, okay, this is gonna be, one of those things that she looks back and remembers. And yeah, those never worked. It never worked like that.
No.
It was always the things you least expect. And like I told my father one day that one of the big moments that we had was I had been in my teenage bedroom trying to learn the drum solo on a song called TNUC. It was T period, N period, U period, C period
Yeah.
on the Grand Funk Railroad live album.
Yeah.
And
I am familiar.
I was going nuts though with that thing. I was scouring the album cover, looking for what TNUC could stand for. I could not figure it out to save my life. And so I was walking to the kitchen, and my dad was sitting in the living room reading the paper. And I said, Dad, because he turned me on to Grand Funk. I said, what does TNUC stand for? And he just looked up over his glasses and looked up, looked back down, and turned the page and casually said, spell it back. Well, not only was it that I finally got the answer and the casual way in which he said it, but it was my dad allowing me to think that word.
See no evil, hear no evil.
I was in the kitchen just going, I might as well have said it out loud.
It's like hearing your grandma say shit for the first time.
Oh, or singing along to Belton John at 4:00 in the morning, damn it, when you're 8 years old, you know? And the parents not stopping you.
It's so funny. I know that everybody in the freaking... What?
Oh, there's Nazareth. Now you're messing with the son of a bitch. That was another thing. Get away with it.
Yeah. Well, when I saw P-Funk All-Stars the first time, you know, they were doing a Chocolate City live, and
oh wow.
And it was motherfucker this and motherfucker that, and motherfucker this and nigga, 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 nigga.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say those words. Yeah. Those are awful words. I can't say those words.
Oh, that's like watching. You imagine the perspective of Ice Cube on Lollapalooza when he was and seeing all the white kids doing this and singing along. He was good, but it was really funny seeing the
white guys going.
Oh no, the teenage girls with the homemade with the homemade beaded necklaces, all Yeah, he was amazing. And backstage, it was a trip too.
I was gonna say it must have smelled great.
Yeah, there's that was everybody. Everywhere.
I remember.
But Jesus and Mary Chain.
Uh-huh.
And Ice Cube crew got into a tiff right at the beginning that lasted the entire tour. Like, yeah, and it was interesting. Those kind of dark British guys, and then the LA side of Ice Cube. And they had to rent. The tour had to rent a hotel room across the into Canada, so Ice Cube crews and put all their guns around there. So
whoopsie. Good times.
Man, there was a time Al Jorgensen set off a pyro ball in the back of the bus while we were going down the highway. Shot it down the hallway into the windscreen of the bus. And the driver just casually pulled over, got off, got his bags, and walked away.
Oh no! Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I quit.
Were you on the Dirty Frank bus?
Yeah. That was our first tour bus. One of the.
As soon as guys had a European tour, right?
No, it was the Chili Peppers tour.
Oh,
we went from our 15-passenger van. Went from the 15-passenger van right into the Dirty Frank Zippert's bus, and that was a real treat. I mean, it was one of the cheapest buses we could find, and I mean, the interior was like, I don't know if you remember, but it was like an old Pizza Inn.
Yeah.
you know,
And
like
now it's probably somebody's tiny home.
crushed velour, and no, it's probably in a field somewhere with a bunch of trees growing around it.
Yeah, I was gonna say has the rust
Oh,
swimming
man.
through.
That guy was hilarious. There was one morning I wake up, the bus has stopped, and I like sleeping on the bottom.
Uh-huh.
So I like the road noise, and I wake up, notice we're not moving. I knew we had a long drive. We were supposed to arrive right before town, and we're still. And then I kind of peeked out just as Eric, our tour manager, is waking our driver up who's asleep on a couch. He's waking him up. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Right? There was ice. I was waiting for it to melt. We found out at the end of the tour, Frank was drinking a little bit.
Just a tad, yeah.
Underneath his seat was a bunch of small bottles of booze.
All the better to put the ice in.
Oh, that guy was funny. He used words wrong. He would say, on this bus, I'll do your laundry. I won't do your laundry. I'll wash your sheets. But I won't be a janitor per se. Copaceptically speaking, you're on your own. Copaceptic. Hi, my name's Frank Zipprich. I'm Great Kill, Long Island. And he stood up. He was about 5'3", little tiny guy.
Oh. Same as me. It could be used as a flotation device in case of water landing.
No, Frank Zipper sank. He sank. You could be used as a flotation device.
Just the right size, and I'm squishy.
There you go. Float. The most important thing is, do you float?
That's true. Yes. Me and Ivory soap and dog shit. We float.
Wow, I've never even pondered as to whether or not dog shit floats.
Yeah, I got 2 dogs. I know this, and I live in the Pacific Northwest.
Does the white dog shit of the '70s float?
Because that the white stuff would float to the top.
I no idea what's going on here.
Space is the final frontier. One, right there.
For white dog shit.
That's funny. No, I was thinking of white dog shit. Is what I was thinking of.
Oh.
Because the white dog shit floats faster. More oxygen, This is science.
White dog. Science.
I spent like the last 2 days watching all of the interviews I could find on you, and everybody's asked me the same 5 questions, and I don't want to do that to you, so I'm not gonna. I was
all right.
The only thing that the only one that I was gonna say is like if I was gonna ask this question, which I shouldn't, but I will, because I'm abroad and that's what we do. We change our minds. It's true wisdom. The secrets you could tell. The thing that always struck me about the whole way they kind of fucked you over, and I won't say that slightly. I think you did get.
Oh no, you can. Have we started yet, or are we going to start? Is this for preparation?
Oh no, this is already on. We're live.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Well, since we're so casual, I'm going to walk with you outside and have a cigarette while we continue.
I am like this all the time. This is who I am. So this is exactly how the show works.
So when you run this question past me, you're actually asking me this question.
Yeah. I don't.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. So
do it. Because I'm only good for one answer per question. If you ask me the same question twice.
See, I'm ADHD, so I get 35. And I grew up in the 60s and 70s. So I always felt like you got so royally fucked over, like Pete Best style fucked over. But I always felt like you kind of got divorced too by the Pearl Jam dudes.
Uh,
Like it wasn't just like a goodbye, it was like a divorce. And like
mm,
the grieving you must have gone through. Nobody ever seems to talk about the
wow.
grieving process of that divorce
Yeah,
you went through,
politely so.
you know?
God damn, you're gonna break me down. Make me cry. That's
I
all
got a
right. We're
simple.
going that deep. Okay, we're gonna go that deep, are we?
Gotta grab a donut.
Ah. Grab a donut, dry my tears in a donut.
That's right. It's me and ice cream.
Uh, that explains the extra weight.
That's right.
Um, so yeah, when at first when I got the axe, I mean, it started off, Stone showed up,
Yeah,
all
that
the
whole
band
breakfast
was
story.
in parts, everybody, yeah, and everyone was in parts unknown. I spoke to our manager and
As
Eddie
as Andy
was
calls him, Kelly
was
Kurt
on.
ass. Yes.
But our manager and Eddie were on their way to the airport to go deal with Eddie's little chip that he had in New Orleans over,
Yeah.
and punk rock shoving match or whatever it was. And
Penis potty.
uh, and his comment of oh, get in touch with Stone because I think he wants to talk to you was that was a post like, okay, talk to you later, bye. And he said, oh, Dave, get in touch with Stone. He wants to talk. And I was like, oh, okay. So that set me up for, I don't know. I thought we were going to talk about, maybe a producer or how he wanted to go about, working on songs, records, some shit like that.
Yeah.
And so when I walked in and sat down, he was already there. And the first thing out of his mouth is, Dave Abbruzzese, we're looking for another drummer. Good. And then him and I went through this emotional, like really emotional afternoon. And I mean, I always appreciate, I've got such love in my heart for all those guys from that moment before.
Mhm.
But up to that
Yeah.
moment,
Yeah.
things got
When
dark
they
real
had packed
quick.
your
They're like,
bags
what
and
the
put them
fuck?
on the steps. Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, they threw him out the window, caught him on
Yeah, no
fire.
shit. Yeah.
And so at that time, I didn't think about the business stuff or anything. I just thought about what the fuck. And so then, the course of a few days, I get a call from Mike. He doesn't know what to say.
Mm.
And I get a call from Jeff, and Jeff stammers through, something had to give, and you're the newest guy in the band. So, that kind of shit. And then Eddie never called. He called that weekend I went to New York. I had a commitment for do an in-store with other drummers in New
Yeah, the
York
drum
City.
clinic thing.
And
Yeah.
Eddie called my house and went off on my girlfriend as to how could I show my face in public after getting fired, that kind of shit. But he never talked to me. And then I had to get a lawyer and try to figure out all this stuff. And after I got fired, Kelly Curtis is telling me what I should do, and the band's lawyer is talking to me about what I should do. There's clearly conflict of interest, and Kelly's telling me that I should, that the statement the band put out is that I'm leaving. It's all amicable. That I'm going to study music, and I was just spinning out. I'm in my basement on the phone, going, "What the fuck?" And
Yeah, and your heart's got to be in 74 different places. No kidding.
yeah, I mean, and Sherry, Sherry, bless her heart, she was the voice of reason because she didn't get involved with any of the politics or any of the band stuff, even though she works the band. When I told her, she was just like, she didn't try to say anything. When I called my best friend on the way after leaving the meeting, I told
Mm.
him, and his comment was, "Good, you never quit that lame band anyway."
Was he in Austin?
And
My
so,
cat behind me is noticing you, by the way.
oh, I thought that was a reaction. I didn't know it was a cat surprise. So I was pretty spun out about it, and then dealing with all the just accept what you get, and that
Well,
sort of attitude
it just looked like
about
they
everything.
adopted you into the band and then they unadopted you. It's like it was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it was a strange thing. It's like when they accepted me into the band from the get go. I mean, because part of me going up there for the audition
Yeah,
was I asked if I had to learn the record the way it was. Because
right,
they just said yes, I wouldn't have went. I didn't like it.
right, right. You hadn't even heard 10 before. Yeah,
No, I heard the demos and pre songs, the pre release
yeah, the
cassette.
pre-cassettes
Oh,
and the
fuck,
demo stuff. Yeah,
there you go. But I didn't dig it, and so when they said no, just come up and play. I mean, that was the attitude the whole time. So I didn't feel like they adopted me. I felt like more they adopted the new direction of the band because I went I play it a whole different way
hmm
than Dave Cruzen or Jack or Matt. I mean, really,
See, you're very Keith Moon
my
to me.
style was aggressive and
Yeah,
bombastic in a lot of
and
ways. But
extra fills and
I
yeah,
tried to respect the music, but also tried to push the momentum of
yeah,
to give it more oomph.
yeah.
And I thought the band celebrated, and to me, I mean, looking at the old videos, they celebrated the power that we now had. Stone told me after I got fired, during the settlement process when I wasn't accepting, when I was just sitting on my thumb saying, "Hey, thanks for everything, guys."
Yeah, no
Um,
kidding.
Stone told me we'd have been just as successful with any drummer, and that blew my mind. As hard as Stone as I worked on songs or verses
That's
together,
not
and as
right.
hard as we worked on everything, for him to say that, I mean,
That's
that
not right.
ended my relationship with what I considered at the time to be the heart of the band. Even though when I got fired, Eddie became the heart of the band. That's why everything changed. You know, I
Yeah,
saw in recent things where he was saying that it got to a point where he had become, the face of the band,
yeah,
and he decided that being that that's how it was, he felt like he deserved to have more say in the creative direction of the band. And that to me explained, without him saying it, that's why I got fired.
yeah, no
That
kidding.
he wanted the band to be a certain way. And that was the band that he played tambourine and sway back and forth to, like he did with the band that he was in before Pearl Jam. Before he was in Pearl Jam, he didn't climb the rafters or dive into the crowd.
Yeah, he
He
was the
said,
shy
tip your
guy.
waitresses.
Yeah,
No, he was not. He said, tip your waitresses and bartenders with his bi-level haircut, singing U2 cover songs that Tom Petty covered.
right.
He wasn't shy. No, he adopted,
That
in my
look.
humble opinion,
Yeah,
yeah, he did what many of the people before him did. He emulated a lot. I mean, well, I remember being in the office and seeing a video of Eddie with his first band, and I was with Stone,
oh, Bad
and
Radio
it was playing.
or Hovercraft.
Yeah, and we were watching just as he was swaying back and forth and saying don't forget to tip your waitresses and bartenders, that kind of shit. And I looked at Stone and he looked at me, and Stone just shrugged and walked off. And I remember just sitting there going, wow, how did he go from being this to being the guy that, stood with his back to the audience for the first four shows because he was, shy. And then one day
Yeah,
he busted out of his
because he was
shell and
playing it.
got
Yeah,
intent,
I have to
and
figure out my persona
bless his
first.
heart, he did a great job. I mean, you have to invent a product to be a product. And,
Yeah,
I mean, I think that was a big difference. I mean, I think Stone and Jeff understood that because of they were seasoned in the game. That
yeah.
Green River,
Well, it's Green
Sub
River and
Pop, Mother Love
Malfunction, and
Bone.
yeah, Mother Love Bone. Yeah,
They've been to a lot of dinners with lawyers already. Whereas
yeah.
Mike came straight out of the bedroom
See, Mike is my
rehearsal room,
favorite in the band.
and
He's my favorite human being in the
yeah,
band.
and I came out of just basically the playing with people, just climbing a talent rung and you know, the band were my best friends, and we did everything we could, but we didn't know the business. So I think it was the five of us and that dynamic that created the tension that allowed Pearl Jam to be such a good rock band, and to
Yeah.
be a band that live almost felt like at any moment something bad could happen or something great. You didn't know
Yeah.
which, you
It's
know?
all volatile. Yeah. It's a lava flow of
Yeah,
Krakatoa.
tension.
Yeah.
Yeah, no control, just reckless abandon that somehow was tight as shit, and the music lent itself to that dynamic. And then all of a sudden, yeah, poof, the rug's pulled out from under, and it did. It was like a divorce in the sense that, um, but it was strange. It was like the manager and the lawyer were the parents,
Yeah.
and I felt betrayed by my parents, you
Right.
know, and I lost my brothers because of it. You know, in my opinion, a proper manager would have done like U2's manager did, or even Aerosmith's manager in a way, which is, I mean, U2's manager literally got them all to appear for a meeting that they didn't know was with each other and locked them in a house and said, work your shit out,
Yep.
you know, and they did. And,
Yep.
you know, and to me, Pearl Jam giving up the, you know, the slap in the face that happened to the fans is what really hurt my heart the most.
Yeah.
Because they removed everything that they meant, and also kind of destroyed some innocence that people had, you know, based on their you know, the ideology that they thought the band was, you know, all of a sudden, you know, somebody in Pearl Jam to get fired, that as corporate as it can get, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, I thought these guys were you know, celebrating their differences
Right.
and all these things,
Because
and then for that
that
to
was the
happen,
message they were putting out there. Yeah.
and to be so unexplained, you know. I mean, they just disappeared for 2 years, and then after that, I was just erased. You know, it was the thing that they do an interview, but you can't talk about Dave Abbruzzese. You can't ask about that. You know,
Yeah.
and so, you know, that changed everything. Oh, hold on, let me get rid of this call.
It's Eddie Vedder.
uh, nope, it would not be any better. Absolutely not. So, hold on a second. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Hi, girls. My dogs are looking at me. Hi, girls. You guys are good. Yes. Good girl.
Okay, let's see if that works. So,
Oh, are we back? I can't hear you and I don't see you. Yeah, I can sort of hear you and I still see black screen.
Okay. How
Oh,
about
you're
now?
back. You're back. It's like this Jesus picture. You
Okay.
got this glow behind
So
your head and the
at
long
that
hair.
point, there we
Halo
go. All
returning.
right. So at that point, it was a year and a half went by, and Jeff called me because the management had explained that no, everything wasn't settled yet. I was still dealing with lawyers and stuff,
Yeah.
and so
And money.
that's when he called, and yeah, that's when I realized that yeah, they were no longer friends, and you know, and when so yeah, it was a soul poisoning event, sure,
Yeah.
but you know, there was a lot of you know, at that point I was working with Dr. Hodgson and Supertramp, and that was incredible. Um, but you know, it was like the idea he wanted to do some live shows before we made a record, and I wasn't in that space. You know, the idea of performing live gave me anxiety, and
Oh, I
yeah, it
can't
was a
even
mess.
picture. I would be under a bed just going, I gotta hide from the world for at least 2 years before I would even talk to someone. Because
Well,
that
then
is like
luckily
a
I went.
life goal you had in your
Well,
faith.
and that was the interesting thing is it was soon thereafter that someone looked at me and said, "So what are you going to do now?"
I think I'll be a plumber. Thanks.
No, it was like, holy shit, you know, what you achieved is they asked you, you achieved everything that you were trying to achieve. Now what are you going to do? I was just like, I never even thought about it being,
Well, go to
I
Austin and
didn't
play
know
South
that.
by Southwest, of course.
No, I went to Texas and I found this huge house in the middle of nowhere and got all the heroes from before Pearl Jam together and we were on the orchestra.
Yeah.
That was the best thing I could.
You did something not too long ago with Peter Cornell, right?
Yeah, actually, not too long ago, being about 10 years ago,
Holy
11
shit,
years
was it
ago.
that long ago?
Yeah, we,
See, this is my age
yeah.
again.
Theory of relativity, messing you up.
I don't see
But
any
yeah,
gray
yeah,
at all. What are you talking about?
yeah, we did his champion record. And yeah, that was, I mean, one of my favorite experiences musically because, you know, he had contacted me and said, I've got this record, got these songs, and
And
you
he
know, I
had the
want to send them
voice.
to
He still has the
you
voice.
and just yeah, just see you know see if there's anything you know if you want to put some drums to them or whatever. And so I got the songs and I went in the studio and I just hit play and record and went for it. I mean, there was no pre-thought. Some of the songs I didn't even hear. I just heard the click.
The
The
click track and
engineer
see what you
set the
could play
click
on
up.
top of it.
It counted for, and I played, and that's what's on the record. You know, no, most of the record is one or two passes and I was done.
That's cool.
So the experience was incredible because we were on the same page musically that well. It's like where I felt like something should go based on the emotion of the music, the way I was relating to what he was saying and doing. I went there, and when I got there, he was already there too, and so it was awesome. And I sent him back 3 or 4 songs with my drums on in the place
Uh-huh.
of what was there before. And his management said, "Oh, okay," because prior it wasn't
Because you
really
know
a
what
rock
you're
record.
doing. How dare you?
It was kind of an eclectic, almost kind of a Seattle Cornell soul sort of a record. Oh,
Hmm.
and then when I
Yeah, I
sent
remember
them
hearing
back,
his music for the first time, and everybody would compare him to Chris. But I thought I still think that he's got something there. It's just all him and so cool.
yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah, no, he's a very soulful fellow, and this record, you know, he wrote most of the songs, if not all of them, for that record while he was going to rehab and about the personal stuff. And
Right
at the
on.
same time that I took it in, I was split from my wife, and so I was going through my stuff, and so it really was just like poof. I mean, I remember, you know, I poured myself emotionally into that record, and the record
Hmm.
received like a big warm, squishy blanket, like "Come here, buddy, I got you." And by the time it was done, yeah, I felt with each song, I just felt like it was a reward for
That's cool.
you know experiences previously. It was just nice. It was the first time I experienced like a musical a feeling from music. Um, yeah, it was rewarding like that. You know, not just an
That's awesome.
accomplishment or a challenge or this or that. It was actually a rewarding experience. And
I
yeah,
went through a breakup
forever
in
grateful.
2015, same thing, same kind of thing, where
Uh,
I actually took my ex-husband is a jazz musician, but he's a music director for Penn and Teller, and
ah,
I worked for Penn
wow.
and Teller for years, and I have stories that I
Nice.
cannot tell in this on a
Of
broadcast, but
course, yeah. Ah,
um,
yeah, I've had one of my runs. Well, I've had some good friends that were friends with Penn. I've heard some funny stories.
oh, then we should share. We'll share those offline.
Yeah.
We should share.
Yeah.
I
That
probably
would
would
be
still have been married if it wasn't for that whole world. But
yeah.
but I got remarried because
Yeah.
I upgraded.
Oh. There you go.
I
And you
tapped
probably
in.
married someone better.
Well, somebody who's a Chinese guy who cooks Chinese food. So it's just
Oh, well,
perfect.
he's got that going for him.
Yeah, exactly. Can't get much better than that. He makes a hamburger, but he's Chinese, so it's Chinese food. So, the other thing I was going to ask you about is you have worked with some drum makers, and are you still a Sabian artist? No. Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah. I have never
yeah.
seen so many freaking cymbals in my life as I did on your drum kit. There's astonishing, just the number of cymbals. Like, how do you keep track of where you're playing in all of them? It's amazing to me.
Well, it's the way they sound. It's the funny thing is, to me, I have more symbols on my kit now than I did.
Yeah, I've seen some of
Yeah,
the videos. Yeah.
and it's really just like tools for the job.
Black
To
Kitty.
me, trying to play rock music with a melodic synth, it required me to have symbols that had different.
Mhm.
I was aware that when I hit this symbol, it's going to ring. The power of it's going to last this long. Get this symbol, the power of it's going to last this long. Get these
Yeah.
two, it's going to create a chord. It's just there's so many. And then live, I was also aware that it's going to look really fucking cool.
It does look freaking cool. It's just,
I know.
you know, it's
Yeah,
so
well, I
shiny
remember,
and big and
going to
pretty.
shows. Luckily, when I was a kid, I couldn't afford good seats,
Uh,
and my parents would never drop us off early enough because there was no seats. So we never got to rush up and get to the front. We always had to jump over the rail. If that only lasted until we were 14 or 15 because it hurts,
oh,
and
cool.
if you get
Your
caught, you
parents
get
let you
kicked
go to
out.
concerts by then?
So
That's
I
cool.
would see shows. I would see shows. Yeah, I would see my first concert by myself was Back in Black for AC/DC, and I got to touch Angus Young.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
and
was
then I
so
saw,
cool.
and then I saw Ted, and then I saw Ted Nugent, and I saw Triumph,
Wow.
all in the same year, and Triumph was the turning point. The lights came on, and everyone was doing this to the kick drum, boom, boom,
Oh,
boom, boom,
yeah.
and I
I
was
mean, the
like,
whole place must have been.
that, oh, that's what I want to do, yeah. But it was always being, from mid court farther back and second tier. So the drummer would hit the cymbal, this call. Um,
Hi, Mom, it's me.
oh my goodness. Yeah.
Totally understand. Totally cool.
Uh, I'm all in. So you got me. Am I here?
Yes.
See me? Hello.
Yes. You're there.
Okay.
You're perfect. I see
So,
you.
I would see that, like seeing Ted Nugent, seeing Cliff Davies playing Stranglehold, hit the cymbal, it would be that little momentary delay of the sound hitting.
Wait,
So it just looks
I'm
so
like, I've got
cool.
my five
And
symbols over here. I got my symbols over here. So there you go. There's
there
my
you
toy.
go. So I always remembered that how cool it was to see a drummer like hit the drum, then you hear it, hit the cymbal, then you hear it. And so, it was always something that was in my mind when Pearl was playing places. This is going to look really cool.
Do you have like a
Yeah.
signature symbol? Do you have like one with this is the Dave Abbruzzese symbol or the Dave Abbruzzese drum?
No, there's a couple of symbols I have that were made specifically for me, but never mass produced.
Mhm.
The AAX line that Satan put out, I sold a lot of those symbols for that company.
Nice. Yeah.
And then I switched at the Vitalogy, switched to the stage line, just because they were easier on the wrist and more control. Um, but yeah, no, I those I didn't even ask for signature line because those symbols gave me exactly what I
I was going
wanted.
to say the ones that already
I
existed.
wouldn't change a thing. So
Right on.
yeah, and that's how GW and all that. I mean, that's how I chose to play the things that I played. It's like, what is it that when I reach up and smash something, what I'm wanting to hear is that sound that I'm hearing. And luckily, I found those instruments and
That's
it
cool.
worked out. So,
Are there any
and I never stopped looking. Never stopped looking. I
I
still,
was going to ask you that. Yeah. Does it ever
when
end?
I'm
No.
doing when I'm doing sessions, there's things that require a sound that isn't my sound, and I don't shy away from pulling out a kit or putting up sentence symbols or because it's important. It's the music first and what I want second when it comes to session stuff. With Pearl Jam, what I want first because I was allowed from day one to add my personality. Yeah,
that's cool. And you
yeah.
had
Even,
you
even though
had the
Eddie didn't
Axl
like
Rose experience too. Was that kind of a similar vibe, or was that like no?
no. It
No.
was a similar vibe. It was a similar vibe in that management was a letdown. Because that was the first thing, when my lawyer told me that someone to get in touch with me. He was his lawyer also. And then I heard that he had been wanting to get in touch with me for years, but his guru kept telling him it wasn't the right time yet.
Yeah. Everybody's
And
got a
so
something.
then when he did reach out, I got in touch with management and they said, okay, you talk to us, we talk to Axl, he talks to us, we talk to you. So I instead got his number from my lawyer and just called his house directly. And that was fascinating. His assistant answered the phone and said, hey, is Dave Abbruzzese for Axl? And then some time passed, and then I hear a voice on the other end. Hello? Hey, Axl, it's Dave Abbruzzese. How you doing, man? How'd you get this number? And then he said, why are you calling me? And we proceeded to talk. We talked almost every night for months, getting to know each other before we even played an Oda music together. And I really, really liked him and enjoyed getting to know him. And it was a big surprise from his persona to who, the guy that I was getting to know.
Yeah, because people are never what they. I mean, there's always the public persona, and then there's
and I enjoyed it, but
real person.
it was the thing. Yeah, yeah. And and I had told management from the get go that I wasn't really interested in the big machine anymore because it cheated up and spat me out. And then I told them that it was really important to me that I have a relationship with Kim, the manager, that I could trust because I thought I had that, found that I didn't. So close with it, and so he said he understood, and so we worked and worked and worked, and then I went down and we played music and laughed at all Axl's jokes. Fired, and things were good and it was unique. But to me, the music that was coming out didn't feel like Guns N' Roses. It was more aggressive. I thought it was cool. It was me and Odd Boy from Nine Inch Nails on drums, so there was two drummers, and it was really heavy. And Robin Fink.
Oh, you're breaking up on the audio.
And Robin Fink from Nine Inch Nails playing guitar, and Duff was still there, and Dizzy.
Oh yeah.
And I talked to management and I said, what about this being Axl's solo project? Because it's so far removed from Guns N' Roses. And management, Doug told me, he said, well, to tell you the truth, Dave, what we're wanting to do is let Axl make this record and we're going to let it tank and let that be the motivation for him to get back with Slash. And then he said, but it's, look at it this way. This will be your in because he doesn't want Matt back. So just see this through. And then when he gets Slash back, this is your in.
Yeah. And that's a weird feeling too. That's creepy.
Oh, it was, to me, it was disgusting because then I was in this position of, okay,
You get to be the other
first
one.
of all, that the management thought that I was so shallow and heartless that I would keep that a secret and just collect the checks. This was my friend. That's how I felt about it. Like, this is a guy that
Yeah.
I'm forming a relationship with, and I had to speak with him for months on the phone just for him to build up trust enough for me to show up and play music. How is this gonna,
And now you know exactly
how is
why.
this?
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, and this just, and so it was like, okay, if I tell Axl, my friend, that this is what's going on behind his back, what's it going to do? It's going to destroy him. He's going to
Yeah.
say, and my first thought, the reason I was into it is he told me, he said, I want Guns N' Roses to be bigger than it was. And I thought, okay, that's a challenge. I'm up for that.
Yeah, that's a
But
dare I'm
knowing
into. Yeah.
that the people that he was relying on were all lying to him.
Yeah.
And I refused to be one of those people. So I had to face a decision, which was, okay, do I take on the responsibility of being the one that destroys this man's spirit? Which I really, at the time, thought if I told him the truth, that he would have disappeared. He would have never made it.
Yeah, you've been there. I mean, you've been when somebody's like telling you one thing and something else happens. Yeah.
Well, but that's me. Me and Axl are two completely different people. And the situation that he was in emotionally at that point, it would have been a different kind of broken trust, and he would have found out that he was getting duped from people that he demanded loyalty from, including me. And I thought, okay, Eddie's glass house was one thing, but this manager's glass house is a completely different one. He's cuts deep,
Yeah.
really deep to someone who's kind of a friend of mine. And so I chose to tell Axl that I was out.
Yeah.
And the excuse I gave him was I wanted to be a musician first and a rock star second, which was bullshit. I couldn't come up with any other excuse. And so I told him that, and suffered the wrath of him being exceptionally and exceedingly angry with me. But
Well,
it was my choice was
Yeah.
my choice was to destroy this person's spirit or to basically, kind of cut, this new group of people that I was, introduced to and becoming friends with. I knew that me quitting abruptly was going to, end any possible relationship going forward with all those people.
Yeah.
But to me,
Bigger picture thinking.
Well, he meant enough to me to take. Yeah, it was just like, and at the time, I still honestly still reeling from, even though it was a couple years later, still reeling from the Pearl Jam thing. So it was like, well,
that's a lot of grief.
To me, it was just the universe steering me in another direction that I had to decide. Chase the money, chase the fame, and be one of those assholes, or do I want to sleep at night?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to be able to look at yourself in the bathroom is when I look at it.
I'm 57. I'm a better 57-year-old person now than I would have been. In the years that I spent being my parents' son up until their death, I was a better son. So to me, it all worked out. I would have more money in my pocket now if I became that person. But in that, there's a good understanding of why most successful fucking train wrecks, drug addicts, alcoholics, abusive parents, a mess. And it's because they have to live with being a piece of shit to get what they want. That's a tough one.
See, no, I have this theory that people have the asshole gene or they don't have the asshole gene. Yeah.
No, well, having the asshole gene means you survive it. And I think most people that survive it die young. It's the ones, I don't think that most people handle it right. I mean, look, there's very few that go through the shit and come out the other side and still successful. You know, most of them then just start donating money to righteous things for reasons other than tax purposes to
Yeah.
try to make up for it. But
Yeah. I'm going to try to be a better
but
person.
you know, yeah, I'm gonna or I'm gonna try to appear to be a better person. So if I
Yes.
get caught
Yes.
having been
Yeah.
such a piece of shit,
Yeah.
when
But
people
enough about the
find out
United
how
States
many
government.
kids I have, yeah.
There's a lot of that going around. As a veteran, I know.
Wow.
I can give you stories about that too. I actually got my veterans pay because I got raped in the military. Yay! So it's crazy.
Well, I didn't know. So it's that easy, huh?
Yeah, that's all it took.
Wow. Did you get any prescriptions for that?
No therapy or anything. It was
No.
and I
You're supposed
dressed
to
for
get
the part. So.
You're supposed to get oxy and hydrocodone.
Yes, the hydrocodones and the methadones and the all the
Well, I
ons I've
dressed
had.
part. Yeah, camo will get you. Camo and metals will get you a purple heart. That's for sure.
Yay!
Purple Merple.
If you're really good, you get the hat. Dave, I have taken up so much of your life today, but I feel like I've known you forever because we basically grew up at the same time.
Yeah, well, you know, that's good. We're going to have a part 2 of this conversation.
I agree.
All right.
I'm gonna sign off the show, but stay on for a second. I'm gonna stop the recording, but stay on for a second.
Well,
everybody,
I appreciate you. I appreciate your conversation.
Yes. And Dave is wonderful. Dave, is there anything you want to say to the people that are watching?
Don't smoke crack.
And if you do, go to this rehab right afterwards.
If you do, enjoy it.
Exactly.
Don't
get caught.
Don't be a bummer crackhead. Jesus. Don't be a drug abuser. Enjoy it.
I don't have a drinking problem. Okay, this has been the Aunty Sochelle Hour show. This has been Dave Abbruzzese, and we will see you guys next time. Happy New Year.